Alright guys, so today we're going to check out a pair of truly wireless earbuds from the company Soul Electronics. Now Soul is responsible for some pretty impressive products that I've really enjoyed in the past. Like I really enjoyed when they worked with Ludacris and they had the SL150s, the SL300s, and to be honest, one of my first pair of earbuds that I really got into were the SL99s. So I have a history with this company and I really enjoy their stuff. Fast forward to now where truly wireless earbuds are taking over, and they have a new product that's called the ST-XS2. Now this is the pair that we're going to check out today. This is a pair of truly wireless earbuds that comes in at $80 and it's really geared towards people that work out and that are active. And you'll be able to tell that with some of the features, but there are also some features that are really confusing to me. But let's go ahead and check out some of those specs and what it is you get inside the box. Now the first thing is, these come in several different colors. They come in blue, black, pink, and white. They do have Bluetooth 5.0 and they also have AAC playback. So far, so good. It also has an IPX7 rating, so these are completely waterproof. So this is a pair that you can go out and do whatever it is you need to do and you don't have to worry. And then also inside the box, you're getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips, and you're also getting small, medium, and large ear hooks as well. So if you are going to be out doing things that are active, those ear hooks just really keep them in place and keep them from moving around. Also inside the box, you're getting a carabiner that clips onto the case, and that way you can clip it onto a bag or a belt loop or anything like that, and it's just easier to keep up with. Now I am happy to say that they did include a USB-C charging cable, and speaking of the charging cable, battery life on these you're going to get around 5 hours individually on the earbuds, where you're going to get around 25 hours total using the case. Now battery life, that's about where you'd want to be. I'd say that's maybe the norm. I still would maybe like to see another hour or two worth of use on the earbuds themselves, but 5 hours is going to be plenty enough. Now let's move over to the case, because this to me is where some of the issues start. The build quality of the case itself, it is plastic. It does feel completely fine. On the back you see the USB-C input for charging, and then around on the front you have a single indicator light so that you get an idea of what battery life is left on the case. Now when you go to open the case, this is where you're going to notice this case is just not easy to open. I mean, it has a little spot where you can kind of put your nail and lift up, and if you have nails, then it'll be fine. But if you don't, you're gonna find yourself just kind of pulling and kind of gripping around and moving around just to get even somewhat of a grip to be able to open this. This case is really hard to open, especially when you have cases out there that you can just flip open the top. And maybe they come back and say this is for protective reasons, but for people that just want general use earbuds and be able to pop these out, this is gonna be frustrating. Now moving over to the earbuds, this is where it gets extremely confusing, because they do use button controls, which is completely fine, but because of the way these are designed, where the buttons are located, you do find that you are kind of jamming these things into your ear, which can get extremely uncomfortable when you're trying to skip the tracks forward or do whatever it is you need to do. And speaking of that, the controls are very limited. You do have the ability to skip the track forward, but you don't have the ability to go backwards. You don't have the ability to control the volume at all, but you can play and pause your music. You can summon your smart assistant and be able to ask it to do some of these other things, but it is so weird that, you know, you can control the track to go forward, but you cannot go backwards. So the controls are definitely something I would have liked to have seen them handled differently. But a huge plus on these is they have ambient mode. So if you're out running or you're out doing whatever you need to do and you need to hear your surroundings, you simply hold the button for a couple of seconds and the microphones will then channel in the outside noise and you can hear what's going on around you. So to be able to add a feature like that and then just kind of miss out on some pretty obvious features is again pretty frustrating, but I do like that they have ambient mode. Now, as far as using them individually, this is also very confusing, because you can pull out the left and use it by itself. You can pull out the right and use it by itself. You can put them back in the case and it will never shut off. It will never disconnect. It will never unpair. I could not get these to just completely shut off without having to shut the earbuds off themselves by holding the power button on both of these. So at all times, and if you happen to forget to do that and you put them back in the case, your battery's just going to drain because they're going to stay connected. Now, moving over to the microphones on these, the microphones are doing an okay job of picking up my voice. I think I come through clear enough where nobody's going to have issues during phone calls, but you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the Soul True Wireless earbuds. Overall, I think they do a really good job of picking up my vocals. I think everything comes through clear enough, again, where people are not going to have an issue hearing me during phone calls. So now here is a mic test playing a crowd noise in the background so that you get a pretty good idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's move over to the sound. The sound of these could save these, especially if they sound anywhere close to what Soul Electronic products have in the past. And to be honest, they do sound really good, especially if you're a bass head. I think the bass is very prominent, it's very strong, but there is enough air in the bass that it allows the mids and the trebles to come through clearly as well. Now, mids are very forward. I had no issues with male or female vocals, where I did feel like the treble is probably the weakest link out of the bass and the mids and the treble. I feel like it's kind of just lagging a little bit behind, not as far as the delay, but when you have the bass that's boosted the way it is and you have the mids pushed forward the way that they are, it feels like the treble could have probably used maybe another notch or two just to be able to kind of balance out a little bit better. So everything comes through very dynamic, but you just want just that little bit more sparkle in the treble. So at times, depending on what it is you're listening to, you just feel like you're wanting a little bit more. Now, moving over to the sound stage and the sound imaging, I think this is where I felt like the treble needed to be boosted more just to be able to pick apart a little bit more detail in the instruments, and having that little bit of separation would have been nice. Now, the airiness that's in the bass makes you feel like you're in a medium to larger size room, so that definitely helps. I think the price point is exactly where it should be. I think $80 is a good price, but I have too many issues as far as the controls. I have issues with these just not disconnecting from my phone when I put them back in the case. And just overall, there's some things that they need to tweak and need to fix to make this more of a pair that I would recommend. So Soul Electronics still makes good stuff. I mean, I've tried a pair of truly wireless earbuds of theirs that I did like, but this is a pair that I'm going to recommend you probably need to stay away from. But guys, that's my video on the Soul ST-XS2. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.